What's happening, everybody? DaPoets here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. In today's video, we're continuing the build series here of the AM5 processor platform with AMD and this MSI Meg X670E motherboard. It's a beast. And as you see here, we now have the Thermaltake DistroCase 350p. It's a hell of a case. It's one of my favorite cases that I've ever built in. Thermaltake did send this to me over a year and a half ago or so, because I first saw it at CES 2020. Slightly different version, so this was like the final product, because CES is wonderful in Vegas. You actually get to see like all the concept stuff. So yeah, after building a great solid relationship with Thermaltake, shout out to Mike, Thermal Mike, and a few other people that were there in that suite. Maybe I'll show some footage of that event. It was pretty darn cool.
So they definitely have a lot of RGB effects going on. It is RGB 2020. And Thermaltake is making their mark. So that's all for me at the Thermaltake suite, and CS 2020 is being impressive. That loud voice in the background is a bearded hardware.
We're back with Thermal Mike over here again, Slacker.
Eventually, they ended up sending me this case, and it was fantastic to build in the first time. And then I built with John Rettinger in this case, same model, not this particular one. We built one for the United States Coast Guard Academy and their eSports team. So I'll put a link to that video on John Rettinger's channel, and that was a ball. And we actually did a couple of PC builds. We did one for the Coast Guard Academy, one for the Air Force Academy, and one for the United States Naval Academy. And all of them custom water cooling. It's fantastic. I'll put the links for all of them. But in this video, because we are continuing this build series, a lot of like specific how-to content for beginners, and I'm noticing a number of advanced people were like, oh, I didn't know that type of thing for some of these. So I'm trying to be as specific as possible and not skip over too much. This right here, this door actually swings out, which is so nice for putting on a motherboard on this. So in my previous video about this, you saw this actually laying on the table, how to put the motherboard on here and screw it in. And now there's just like two hooks, basically, it just slides right down. All right, so, but each PC case and motherboard combination that you have, you're either gonna have the option of having a nice little tray like this that comes out and you can just put the motherboard on it, or just put the motherboard in the PC case itself. Don't forget the standoffs. That was the whole point of the last video. Now we're kind of at the point of planning cable management, but we also have to power this thing as well. So you want to always plan ahead, plan far, far ahead in terms of what hardware you're going to be using. So this right here, as we know, is the AM5 platform. So this is the 7950X processor, 16 cores, 32 threads. It runs hot. 95 degrees C is like the target temperature. So it's not a bad thing anymore. In the past, you would be like 95 C, what's wrong? But no, that's normal. So we're going to be doing custom water cooling. This Radiator by Thermaltake is a thick boy, right? It's like this thick, and therefore it's push-pull as well. So in my past builds, with this. Having this one thick radiator, 360 millimeter radiator, I think it's 64 millimeters thick, has been perfectly fine at cooling very hot equipment. So we're going to be testing that as well to make sure that I don't have to somehow add another radiator, because this is only geared for one radiator at a time. But I do want this to be my test bench. So people have been asking, what is the purpose of this build? It's the new test bench. I know Jay's 2 cents, he's got some fancy test bench where you can just plop things in, and so does Paul's Hardware and Bitwit and all the guys and gals. So this is my new test bench. And I like water cooling, so this is gonna make it nice and easy for me. I'm also gonna be using ZMT tubing, so that's called zero maintenance tubing. It's thick black tubing, very easy to take off and put back on as I need to change things around. Eventually, I may do acrylic tubing, but go ahead and take a look at my previous videos on this build where it was called Destro, and it was all acrylic tubing. So, I already did the acrylic on this. Now it's time to make it functional and test a lot to really show you all capabilities for all the newer hardware. So again, 7950X by AMD, the MSI Mega X670E motherboard, the RAM. This is the Kingston Fury 6,000 mega transfers RAM, CL36, so very good, solid RAM. 64 gigs is going to be great for like playing Star Citizen, video editing, so I'll be able to do a lot with this. This also has a 2 terabyte Kingston Renegade NVMe M.2 drive, PCIe Gen 4.0. This thing hits over 7,300 megabits per second speeds. Very, very nice. And then we have power supplies to choose from. Now we're at kind of a crossroads with power supplies, and you have to plan this very carefully because there are a lot of options, and it really depends on where you're going with your build. So right here, Fractal Design did send me this to test, because I'm going to be doing another build with their Fractal Design, let's see, the Meshify 2 RGB case, brand new case that just came out. So I'm going to use this to build in that. And this is an 860 watt 80 plus platinum power supply unit, so very nice standard. And it's also the older standard, right? Because we have a new ATX 3.0 standard that all the new 40 series GPUs actually utilize, and the 3090 Ti did as well. So can't use this. Ugh. Could, but I need this to be able to be, used for the newer GPUs. This is the Fantex Revolt X. This is a serious power supply unit. I've actually used this in 2 different builds. I'm using it actually in 2 builds right now. So this is 1200 watt 80 plus platinum, and it's a dual system power supply unit. So you can actually have 2 computers plugged into this. And my main system, Deep Blue, that has a Threadripper 3970X, so it's 32 cores, 64 threads, 128 gigabytes of RAM, dual RTX 3090s, and that system also has a 10900K as well. This one power supply unit is powering all of that. It splits it, 2 different motherboards, very nice, 1 custom loop. So let me know if you want me to do a full review of Deep Blue, that's what it's called, and I'll do that. But this is the older standard, 3090s, that's old news. So with that in mind, I have to get a new power supply unit. And I've been to Micro Center numerous times. They're not there. Seasonic does have some compatible ones where they're including the splitter cables and try to make it, work. And yes, you can do that, and you'll be most likely perfectly fine. But these GPUs and basically these systems are pulling so much wattage and have very high, basically spikes that happen. I'm not dealing with any splitters, right? Plus with cable management, when you have like 4 cords coming from a power supply unit into one that then goes into your GPU, that just looks like a mess. So I'm not dealing with that. So it's 1, safety first for me, never cheap out on your power supply unit, and 2, make it look nice, right? So I need a ATX 3.0 power supply unit. Let's make it happen.
So I always love coming to Thermaltake. They treat me like gold. They're great people over there, fun times. They have a Donkey Kong water-cooled PC inside. Let me show you that. Thermaltake.
This thing is so cool. I wish it was on right now, but yeah, look at that. Little barrels right there. So cool. Donkey Kong. And this is a PC case that is large and in charge.
And that's a wrap. Shout out to Thermaltake for the stuff.
Okay, sorry about that. This is the Thermaltake ATX 3.0 Gen 5 PSU. Shout out to Thermaltake for supplying this for this build series. And yeah, this thing has a 10-year warranty. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up here. It does have that Smart Fan Zero effect, so the fan can be quiet, because some of these, you know, geez, when you're having like 1200 watts, the fans can get kind of loud. This does have, I believe, the fluid dynamic ball bearing thing as well, so this will last a very long time. It does have like that Smart Zero fan switch right here, very nice. And this is 80 plus gold, but it's such good quality on this standard that it actually kind of trades blows with some of the 80 plus platinum ATX 3.0 power supply units that are out there as well. And these are all new coming down the line. I don't even know if you can buy this yet. So literally shout out to Thermaltake for making this happen. And let's go ahead and open this up somehow, some way. Ugh. Ugh. I have no idea what I'm doing. No idea. Hey, there we go. It goes from the bottom. Started from the bottom. And now we're here. All right, so we have words. We have foam. Oh yeah, I love these. So Thermaltake actually does a great job with the packaging here. So I'll set this aside real quick because I do want to take this out as well. We actually have the Toughpower GF3 1200 watt 80 plus gold power supply unit right here. And then more foam. And then these things, which always are whatever. So package this up again. Put it nice and product placement like. There we go. So first things first, let's take a look at this thing. So it's got a nice big fan here. I want to say this is like a 130 millimeter fan. I'll have to look that up, but I think it's about that. And so 1200 watt, GF3, and where's the, so we have the smart switch here, which is nice for the silent running, and of course the main power switch as well, on and off. Then we actually have all of the nifty features here for the plugs. So let's get into the plugs. Didn't think this was going to be an unboxing video, did you? So this is how I do my power supply unboxings. First off, what's the smaller one? We have this very thick boy cable. Now for power supplies, never mix cables. Like even if you think you have all of the same, like say Thermaltake power supply units or all Seasonic power supply units, still never mix cables, because you never know. They could have a different manufacturer run where all of a sudden one cable is different from the other, and then you have to call the fire department. All right, so power supplies are the most important thing in your PC by far. There's nothing else that's as important as your power supply unit, and treat it well. So this is a thick boy, right? So this was going to handle all the current that we need. Very nice. It also came with the screws. Nice, because I needed more of these. Cool. We're going to use those to, you know, obviously put it into the PC case. Zip ties are very helpful if you like that style. For me, I take things apart so often that I actually don't use zip ties. I use twist ties. That's what I like to use. Or tape, never glue. And then we have the big old bag here. Ooh, there we go. So let's go through some of these. Random. All right, so this is going to the motherboard, obviously. And so this is the thick boy cord for the motherboard. Some of these are braided. Nice, nice. So this is the new one. This cable is going to your GPU. So your 3090 Ti's, your 40 series GPUs. It's nice and braided. Let's see how long this is. And thank you for the twist ties, because I will be using these. Yeah. I wish it was longer, not gonna lie. I do wish it was longer, just because cable management sometimes you wouldn't need to get creative. But overall, I like the look. So I'm not going to be doing any type of cable extension like with Cable Mod. Cable Mod did come out with these that are specific for these, which is nice. And some of them do look really, really nice as well. But there's not many companies right now I would trust with this style of the ATX 3.0, Gen 5 power supply units for cable extensions. Cable Mod is one of them. I haven't seen if Asia Horse has made them yet. I would imagine so. They're the other company that I would trust with those. So Cable Mod and Asia Horse. And yeah, this is nice. I always like to see like the new cords. You can plug these in and take them out the same amount of times as the older style. It's about 30. So that's way more than what most people are ever going to do. 30 sounds like a small number, but actually when you're building your PC, that's once. Maybe you have to redo your cable management while you're building it because you messed up. Okay, twice, maybe 3 times. And then your computer's there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? Until you're doing some maintenance or something, so 4 or 5. And then years go by as well. So 30 is more than enough. And let's see, what else do we have here? So we have, I like how these are also labeled as well. So this is for the CPU, so it's going from the power supply unit to the CPU. And on this, that's actually up here. So that's pretty cool. So that helps with overclocking and stability, all that stuff. Then we have the SATA cables, there we go. I don't think I actually have anything that is going to need the SATA cables for power, which is nifty because I'm not using any of the SATA SSD drives or hard drives. I'm straight up NVMe power, baby. And so then this one, this is the PCIe. So this is going to the old style of like 3090s if you have those and all that stuff. But I'm probably going to test with a 3090 first to get a baseline for what people are familiar with. So more SATA cables, SATA power, I should say, and Molex. Now I do need this, unfortunately, because as awesome as this DistroCase 350p is, it's got a Molex cable for the pump. Whatever. All right, and let's see here. We have more of the PCIe cable. All right, so 3090, very nice. And another CPU. So this does have 2 ports for the CPU up top. So we'll be using 2 of those. And then this funky thing that nobody ever uses, so don't worry about that. All right, so I need a sound effect, like when I throw something back there, somebody like yells because they get hit in the head or, something fun. So that's about it. Basically, the installation process is going to be slightly different based on your PC case. This one right here actually has a bar that you actually have to unscrew. You slide it on here and then you screw it actually onto this is a whole distribution plate, right? So this case is water cooling, the whole case. This is all fluid back here. That's, well, it's empty right now, but yeah, that's gonna be all fluid. So looking forward to that. And yeah, this is nice. So this is actually a very good quality run by Thermaltake. I was doing my research on these ATX 3.0 power supply units, and some of viewers have actually had the testing equipment to do the best they could with actually testing all of the technical stuff. All right, I'll just put it that way. These videos are not technical by any means, but that's where I learned that the quality components, the CSV components in here, Japanese capacitors, all very good quality stuff. That's why, even though it's 80 plus gold, which is perfectly fine, it's such on the high end, it's basically almost like 89, 90% efficiency, that it's battling with platinum rating. So good job Thermaltake on that. They are going to be coming out, from what I heard from the grapevine, they will be coming out with RGB versions of their ATX 3.0 power supply units eventually. My last power supply unit that I used in this case was really cool. It was RGB and it all synced together and stuff. But this is going to be more of a blackout build in a way, like black tubing and black, no RGB power supply unit. And even though these fans are the RIING Quad 12 fans by Thermaltake, 6 of them, These will pretty much be the main RGB that I will have on here for a nice hint of a glow. This Thermaltake DistroCase 350p has RGB strips up top and on the bottom. Okay, so maybe not a blackout build, but I can change the settings. I can, because this is going to be like a workstation slash gaming station slash, you know, a very good PC. Let's just put it that way. 7950X, 16 cores, 32 threads, 64 gigabytes of Kingston Fury DDR5 RAM at 6,000 mega transfers. Whatever GPU I'm testing at the time, the MSI Meg X670E Ace motherboard. And then of course, because I'm using all soft tubing, I'll be able to just kind of change out the processor, maybe do like an X3D processor when that comes down the line for the 7000 series, change out the GPU as needed, and we'll just kind of go from there. So with that, let me know if you guys have any questions whatsoever. I'll probably just on my TikTok show how I'm like installing this. Not really relevant for this series because everybody's PC case is going to be different. So read the manual for your PC case on how to install your power supply unit. Some are going to go in like this. Some are going to be like that. Some are going to be like this. For this one, basically, I'm going to have it so this is the back side and the fans are going to be on the bottom. That's how I'm going to do it. And that's going to make all this upside down. But if I'm dropping anything like down here, down this hole, I want it to go on here, all right? And so I don't want things to like fluid or anything to potentially drop in here. So that's my own choice. I get to do that. It's custom. And you might be able to do that too with some of your cases as well. So if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and all that good stuff. And hopefully I didn't break it. And yeah, more to come. So stay up to date on my TikTok, my YouTubes, and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one, especially the filling of this. That's going to be kind of hot. Peace.